Howdy, folks. This is just a reminder that if you like this content, you can help me out by liking, commenting, and especially by subscribing. And be sure to hit the bell notification so you always get notified whenever I have a new video. Hope you enjoy this.
Stephen says, what are your thoughts on the 1994 Zimbabwe UFO case where aliens visited a children's school? So, what's notable about this is you have multiple witnesses. You have a bunch of these Zimbabwean children telling a common story. Doesn't mean all of the details are the same, but you got a bunch of eyewitnesses. And when you've got multiple witnesses to the same thing, that tends to support it happening, even if some of the details vary from one witness to another, which is normal. On the downside, the witnesses are also children. And so children are not as reliable as witnesses as adults. They have fantasy lives that they are more likely to confuse with real life. I remember cases when I was a kid where, yeah, even though I knew the difference between make-believe and real life, I would still kind of get them mixed up a little bit. So that's another factor here. What can be used to control for that factor are two things. One, did any of the children change their stories and say, yeah, I think I misunderstood all that, or I don't think that's what happened? Did they change their stories in a substantial way in later life after they grew up? The same way I can look back on things that I confused with real life in my childhood fantasies back when I was a kid. I now recognize those, and so I would say, yeah, no, I really didn't have a Tyrannosaurus out in the woods out back of my house. So did some of these children have a similar change of story as they grew older? Also, were there other witnesses at the time besides the children who could confirm any of this? And do we have any physical evidence that any of this happened? I am familiar with the basics of the 1994 Zimbabwe story, and it's another interesting story because of the multiple witnesses, but I haven't yet done a formal research project on it, but it is on my list of things to cover on Mysterious World. By the way, I do have several UFO-related episodes that are going to be coming out in the next few months.
And before we go, just one more reminder that if you like what you've watched, you can help me out by liking, commenting, and especially by subscribing. I'm trying to grow my channel, and I'd really appreciate your help. Thank you, and God bless you.